Hey there in YouTube land, and before I did this review I had to get a sign off on my better half for this one because it's an early Christmas gift from a really great friend of mine, Sammy, who you will have, if you watched my last video then you know all about this one, but I thought I'd do a review. First off, I'd like to start with talking about the lead actress, Zoe Lund, who plays pretty much a character that seems to be mute until, well, we'll get to that. But the actress herself was regarded as a genius. She was 17 years old when she did this. She spoke many different languages. Only problem with Zoe Lund, sadly, Zoe Lund was a tortured soul. She was a heroin addict, and she lived a life that can only be explained uh, by her. She was a unique individual, and she died way, way too young. Zoe Lund, unfortunately, never ever got to reach the age of 40, and she abused drugs severely. She was an extremely beautiful woman, an extremely talented woman, and it was a shame what happened to her. And I like to say right now that it's a damn shame. She does such an incredible job. She was 17 when she made this movie. Uh, just like if you've ever seen Miss 45, just really wrap that around your head. This girl was 17 when she made this film, and this film, in my opinion, is another masterpiece. Abel Ferreira does a fantastic job of directing this film, and it doesn't take the safe, easy route that you would normally go by. Maybe because of the fact that the lead actress is 17, or maybe due to the fact that they didn't want to go down that overtly exploitive route. I mean, a lot of movies that you saw that were rape revenge films back in the day, nothing wrong with them, but they took a much more exploitive aspect on the style of filmmaking that was done. If somebody, we all know there were films out there where the rape had tons of nudity and lasted forever, or it just seemed to be there sometimes to titillate. And rape should never be something that titillates or that makes you excited. That's not exact. That's not at all what it should be. And in this film here, you don't get that. We get to meet her. She works at a garment house, and she's mute. She really doesn't. She has friends, sort of, but she's kind of like off to herself, and she doesn't really like to go out. She's quiet. She's really shy. On her way home, and this is going to get very spoilery here. She gets raped. She's brought into a alleyway by a guy wearing a mask, who we don't see again actually, except in flashbacks, and is and she's violated. It's quick. It's nasty. There's nothing nice or sexy or erotic about it. It's the way that it should be done. It's not the way that, but it's the way it should be shot. And it's over so soon and so quick. And meanwhile, we know that there's somebody that's broken into an apartment, which we find out is her apartment, and is looking for money. So she comes home, clothes torn, just devastated, and sits on her couch and just completely out of it, only to find that there's a guy in her house. Oh, when he tries to get money from her, when he finds out that she can't speak, he takes advantage of that fact. He proceeds to rape her again, and again, nothing is really shown. It is done like it is very. It's hard to watch. It's disturbing, and we see her grasp this object in her hand, and she has it there for a length of time, and you're so frustrated because you want to go in and you want to help, and you want to just scream out to her and just say, just hit him with it. And it builds up and it builds up, and it gets exactly the right reaction that it should. It gets the frustration that it gets just a minimal amount of the frustration that she's feeling after this, and it drives it in you because you so want to see her survive. You want to see her escape. You want to see this not happen to this girl, to this beautiful girl that doesn't deserve to have this crap happen to her. You just want to see her just swing it and end it. And end it for her and end it for you, so that you don't have to watch it. So that you don't have to face the fact that this ugliness happens to people every day in real life, to women out there, and it's a damn shame. But it goes on to the point where it has to, where you feel that. And when she swings it, you want to feel, thank God, and it's over, and she hits him, and then she finishes him off with a iron that's by her, which makes sense because actually we actually get to see her iron a lot at the garment house. That's kind of what she does. So I guess in a way that was a throwback of sorts to that. She quickly takes him and puts him into her tub, and we see her start to go back to work. We see as she starts to become more kind of withdrawn, more than she was before. At first, excuse me, and she starts to be. She feels crowded at first. She's disoriented, and we see this happen to her. We see her try. She's basically chopped at the bottom. We know that. We see her. They don't show it. We just know she's got bags, and she's kind of like trying to get rid of them. So she gets rid of one, and when she goes to get rid of the second bag, this guy that's been kind of like lurking in the corners trying to get a girl follows her for a bit, and we're not sure if he was meant to do anything harmful or if there's any sort of threat to him at all. But he does pick up the bag when she drops it, and basically says, "Miss, you dropped your bag," and he chases her to give her the bag. When she gets into an alleyway where there's no way out. The robber had a gun, by the way, which I should have mentioned, and she ends up carrying it around. She takes the gun and she shoots him in the head. Not the robber, the guy that was chasing her, and there she's lost. If there's any semblance of the person that we see at the beginning of the film, after the violation happening twice, the fear that comes out there, every man becomes a threat. She sees threats around absolutely every corner. And this does happen. Maybe not to the extent of this, but after something like this happens to you, after you've been like, after something this horrible happens to you, it's hard to see things as anything as good or anything as a positive. And at this point, she doesn't see any people around her. Like, she trusts females, but she has absolutely no faith in man at all. There's no man that she really, everyone seems like a threat. Everyone seems dangerous. So she starts to wear a lot of makeup, a lot of lipstick. She takes her gun out with her, puts it in her purse, and she dresses, I wouldn't say really provocatively, but she dresses not as kind of dowdy as she dressed before. Like, she wears leather pants, and she dresses nice. She dresses kind of like maybe a clubbing type of thing, but very, very low-key. And she goes out and she walks the street, and she waits for someone to try something. She needs that release. needs to shoot. She is shooting her rapist, the one that she didn't get, the one that she couldn't kill, the one that got her at the beginning and took away that first, like, took away that trust originally. She sees him. She dreams about him. So every time she goes out on the street and every time that she kills somebody else, she's killing him over and over again. And that is the basis of Miss 45. We see her go through her life. We see like there's a nosy neighbor downstairs has a dog, and we kind of like find out like that she's really really kind of like the old nosy biddy and type thing, and the dog's always trying to get in because of course he smells the meat, the dead body. But she continues to walk the streets. Her boss is very kind of like, he kind of likes her a lot, and I wouldn't exactly. I don't think her boss was. I'm gonna call him like lecherous type, but he definitely has his eye on her, and maybe takes advantage, I say, of the fact that he is the boss. Not in the really slimy way that you see in a lot of movies, but he does. He's not a good guy. But there are like semblances of there are scenes with him where he does actually seem to care that she is okay. But at the same time, you see him as more of a predator as well. And maybe it's also because we see him in many ways, and see many of the men through her eyes and her panicness and the just utter despair and like, what do I do type of thing. She can't get over it, and it's building and it's building and it's building, and she has to go out and she has to kill more and more. It's becoming more. She's becoming exactly what she doesn't want to be. She's looking for victims, and it gets to the point where she chases a guy, and she's very, very frustrated when the guy that doesn't even know she's there gets inside his door, and she doesn't get to kill him. It's like she didn't get that. She didn't get it out. She didn't get the release that she needed. It's an extremely frustrating time for her. Her boss keeps mentioning a Halloween party, so we know that the film is going to climax at this Halloween party. It's been built up towards it. Now, the dog has been very, very extremely nosy. So one day she writes a note there that she wants to take the dog Phil for a walk. And she takes the dog Phil out through traffic and finally to this dock area, like by the water, and she ties him up by the harbor, and she's going to you see her point the gun at the dog as if she's going to shoot the dog. And there's a note left afterwards for the lady saying that Phil got away, ran after another dog, and he got away. She chased after him, but she couldn't find him. The lady gets extremely, extremely more curious than she was before, and that's hard to do with this girl. So while she is at the party, she breaks into her house, and she thinks that she's killed Phil, and she wants to find the dog there. She hopes to find the dog there, and we know that there's a plastic bag in the inner closet locked in. So she gets into that. She gets the plastic bag, and inside is the head of the robber. Of course, she calls the police, and they don't know at this time where she's at. So she's at the party, and everything's going on, and you know that something's building. The boss takes her upstairs, and what happens is exactly where you think this is going. We hear a gunshot off screen, and we know that he's not alive anymore. She slowly walks down over the stairs. As one male starts to run up the stairs, she shoots him in the throat, and she looks around the room. She surveys the room as she slowly walks through and methodically starts shooting every male that she sees there at the party. At this point, one of her female co-workers, after an extended, like, kind of a slow motion type of, like, brutal kind of mass murder that's being done. She grabs up on a knife and as she backs up to her, she stabs her to, like, shoot, to basically protect herself, to stop any more of the killing from going on. And that's when uh, that's when the lead character looks at the girl and whispers her only line in the entire movie, which was a shock because, one, you think she's mute for the entire film, and I think everybody else did as well. She says "sister," and she can't understand. She's just helping. She's protecting. She's stopping guys from doing what was done to her to other people. Except she can't differentiate at this point between bad and good. It's just male equals bad. And I would like to say that that's not the case. But the reality of the fact is that every one of us guys that are here had mothers and sisters and aunts. We have somebody, wives, girlfriends in our lives, and we get up and we go outside at daytime or nighttime, and we go to work or we go to the store, and we kind of take it for granted. The fear that's built in, that is there for females, that they're getting attacked, not because they're weaker or not because of anything other than the fact that that horrible, horrible thing does happen. And it happens way too often, and the punishment is extremely, extremely weak and not at all severe the way it should be. And this movie here was never meant to be a feminist film or I mean, I don't even know if sure it's meant to have like a deep, like strong meaning, but it does, in spite of itself. And Bill Frere, who was interviewed on here, says, and he talks honestly about Zoe Lund, like warts and all. He talks about what a greatness she had, and talks about her dark side. And he says that all the stuff that came in, all the feminism and all the deeper stuff that came to this film, he said she brought this into this film. At 17 years old, she brought this deep, complex character into this film and completely brought it to life. He said, I directed this movie. He said he said his friend wrote the movie, but she completely 110% brought this character off the page and and did things with it that he wasn't even aware could be done with the character. And that is why Miss 45 works so well. It worked well back in the day, and it works well today. It is going up there, done in 1981, with one of my top films of all time. This may actually be on my top 10 list right now. This is a really great film. And like they say here, combines Death Wish with Roman Polanski's Repulsion, and you really do get a feel that I really got a Polanski type feel when I watched this movie. There was such brilliant shots and some of the camera, and there's so many great choices that are made here. When she goes to a bar and she starts talking, well, she doesn't start talking. This guy starts talking to her, and we kind of expect the same old the shooting thing. And he tells her the story about his, and I'm not gonna. This is one I've told you the whole movie. We're not gonna ruin the story for you because the story is so brilliantly told, and the ending and what happens is not what we expect to happen. But it is genius the way that it plays out. The realism of the streets, the acting in this film, just everything seems so real and so authentic. It doesn't seem like a put-on movie. It seems like something you could actually hear like happen. You could open up a newspaper, and this is something that you could see happening. Uh, there are some pretty good special features on here. Some that I want you to watch. Some I haven't checked out yet. Interview with director Abel Frere. It's a short interview, but it's really good. It's really precise, and I'd rather have a shorter interview than one that's filled with filler. And this one's not filled with filler. This one is a fantastic interview. Interview with composer Joe Delia and creative consultant Jack McIntyre. We have Zoe XO, which I did watch. It broke my heart to watch it, but it was about talked to about Bob Lund, her husband, and he talked about her life. And there's another film on it called Zoe Rising, which I did not see yet. And of course, theatrical trailer, 32-page booklet, which I got to read, and of course, there's a digital copy on here as well. If you have not checked out Miss 45, I strongly recommend this film. This is one of my top films, and I cannot give this one anything other than a perfect score. So I haven't done this in a while, but I'm doing this now and calling this this is above a 5-star. This is a Pin's pick, Professor Pin's pick, and of a movie that absolutely everybody should see and every collector should have in their collection. Thank you again, Sammy, for bringing this film back into my life and making me really, really think as I watched this film. This film was only 81 minutes long. 80 minutes long. I'm sure it's 80 minutes long. And there wasn't a wasted second of cellulite in this one. It's a great film. And it's one that I am proud to own. And I am even more proud to review and to tell you about. If you haven't seen the movie Miss 45, check it out. Drafthouse did a great job on this one. It's got a great reversible cover here as well. It's a good movie. I suggest you guys watch it. And let me know what you thought of Miss 45. For me, it is a top film. And it's a work of genius. And Zoe Lund, she went way too fast. I would love to have seen what could have been. Because, man, when you see something like this, you realize how important it is. Things are so fleeting. And she went way too early. Way too early. It's a fantastic film, guys. Check it out. It gets the highest recommendation that I can give a film. This is in my top films of all time right now. It is definitely top 10. Thanks for watching. For me right now, it's time for some tea. And I'm not sure if I'm going to watch another film tonight because it's really hard to top this one. Have a great night. And John Lobsterhead says hi. Check this film out. You'll be glad that you did. And if you buy the Drafthouse Blu-ray of this one, you'll be getting a superb package and an amazing film. Have a great night.